Hi, everybody. It's Cindy here. And I was going yesterday to the town I used to live in because I still have property there. And so I had some business to take care of with my property. And so I took the time to make several visits with people I've known for years. And I had some really interesting discussions that have kind of formulated my thoughts for today that I wanted to share with you in this form because some of the conversations were pretty intimate and personal and reminded me of when we're dealing with difficulties in relationships and when things are unhealthy and destructive and how to handle those things in the most peaceful way. And so I just, without going into the details of other people's lives, I'll just say that I had more than one conversation with people about people who are very close to them in their lives, close relationships within their families or sometimes partners, um, sometimes adult children, things like that, that are very unhealthy and destructive and people not being treated properly in healthy ways or communicated with in healthy ways. And so it brought up several thoughts for me that I shared with the people I was visiting with and that I've compiled together kind of now to share with you. So here's some things to think about when you are in relationships of any kind and how to kind of navigate through some of those things. One is that to remember that other people's actions are not about you. They're about them. Okay, this is very important. If you can grasp this, that how people behave toward you, how they speak to you, how they beliefs that they're carrying about the relationship or about life in general, and how they're acting around you has really nothing to do with you directly. It's not about you. It's not personal. It's about them and what's going on with them and their perspective and their level of health or lack of it and how they're choosing to operate in relationship to themselves and to others in the world. And so it's very important that you keep that separate. And look at it the opposite way. Your actions are not about another person. They're about you. How I behave in my relationships with you is about me. That's not about you. You are not responsible for me. I am not responsible for you. I am only responsible for me. And so when someone's treating you badly, it's very important, no matter who they are, if it's your spouse, if it's one of your children, if it's your best friend, I don't care who it is, no matter how they're treating you, that is not about you. So it's not as personal as we tend to think it is. It's very separate. And so it doesn't mean it's okay to be treated that way. It just means to not take it on so much. A lot of what we do when someone treats us poorly is we go, what did I do? How did that happen? And instead, the question might be, I wonder what's going on with them that they're showing up this way in our relationship. And hopefully you can tease some of that out with them if they're important enough to you. But often people are not, when they're in an unhealthy, destructive pattern, they're not open to conversation and they aren't ready to own their behavior. But anyway, so keep separate in your mind. Own your own actions, your beliefs, how you're showing up in a relationship, and let the other person be responsible for their own actions. You don't want to give them too much power over you. Let them own their stuff, you own yours, and not take on theirs as your burden to bear. Okay? No matter what kind of relationship it is, no matter whether you call this person, again, your wife, your husband, your son, your daughter, your grandchild, your friend, your closest colleague, it doesn't matter who it is. No relationship, no dynamics of any relationship are worth losing your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, your financial health, none of it. Your health is one of the most foundational pieces of your life, your holistic health. And we don't want to let any relationship of any kind take us down. We don't want to let that happen. That's part of why I got divorced ultimately, was because I could not figure out how to be the healthy person I knew I was capable of being, emotionally, physically, all in every way, in the context of my marriage. I just could not figure that out. And I was watching my health go down. And that's when then I knew, because I knew once the health goes down, then everything else goes. I was still a decent mother, I thought. I was still functioning at work really well, I thought. I was still, the pieces of my life I was holding together. I was holding together. I was holding together. But as I started to see depression set in and my physical health go, the stress get so high, I knew eventually it would all break down. And then the ripple effect would be everything else going down with me. And I didn't want that. So I had to let the marriage go down and go. That was my personal decision. I own that. But I'm just suggesting to you in general that if you have a relationship or relationships that are so destructive in your life, so toxic, so unhealthy for you, and you've tried and tried and tried to create a healthy dynamic there, and you cannot figure out how to do it, I don't want you to let your health go down and everything else be lost just in the name of this one relationship, even if it's the best friend, the spouse, the child. But relationships that we think, oh, we've got to keep, we've got to keep, we've got to keep. So really look at that and be really, really gut honest with yourself about where you're at on that scale. It's very important to recognize in relationships what we can control and what we cannot control. Actually, it's very important in all of life, what we can and cannot control. I love the Serenity Prayer, which is really got its beginnings around addiction recovery and things like that. Accepting the things we cannot change. And I'm not saying it right at all, but it's the courage to accept the things we cannot change and to know what we can change, and the wisdom to identify the difference is the basic message of this Serenity Prayer. So the road to peace, in other words, is knowing what you can change and what you cannot change. And so we focus on what we can change, which is us, ourselves. You can change yourself in any way if you want to. Any way is possible, no matter what age you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter what you've been through in your life. If you want to change something about yourself, you can do it. Trust me, believe me, it's possible. With focus and determination, you can change anything. And but it's very important to know what you can't change, and that in relationships, that's other people. You cannot change other people. They can change if they so choose. You can make requests of them to change, to help the overall relationship. At the end of the day, they must change themselves, decide if they want to change themselves or not. And then you can see what you want to do. And then you can change yourself, of course. So filtering out what can I control, what can I not control, and being able to do that very succinctly is a wonderful way to sort through where you have power in your life, which is right here within you. Okay? And then lastly, making decisions about how you're going to relate to someone, what you're going to do with these difficult dynamics, making your decisions about that. One of the best ways to decide what to do is to ask yourself, what's going to bring me personal peace? What's going to bring me personal peace right now in the moment? What's going to bring me day-to-day personal peace, and what's going to help me feel peaceful in the long term in managing this relationship or these relationships in whatever way I so choose. One of the people I was sitting with yesterday kept saying, should I do this or should I do that? Should I do this or should I do that? He was contemplating several options on handling a relationship in his life someone he loves very much. And I just kept saying back to him, what would bring you the most peace? Would this or would that? Which would bring you the most peace? This or that? Which direction do you think will help you to lay your head down at night and be able to sleep the best? That's one of the things I ask myself when I'm struggling with something is which path I take in this situation is really going to help me sleep good at night. Because then I know I'm at peace, right? And that is the goal, is for us to feel peaceful and joyful in life. Enjoy these years we have. Whether we have 100 or we have 50 or we have 20, it doesn't matter. It's just, what quality of life do you want while you're here? And so being peaceful around the choices you make in your relationships is a huge part of how that's all going to feel to you, the quality of your life and the quality of your health. When you hang on to things that you can't do anything about and you burden yourself with them, it is a huge emotional weight on you, and it will eventually, if you do not manage it and let go of it, release it, it will eventually weigh you down and break down your health in several ways. It could make you age much faster than you want to age. It could cause you physical disease. You know, disease is dis-ease, stress. Most diseases have a stress base to them. And so if we keep ourselves stress-free, we are more likely to keep ourselves disease-free. So, and mental illness too, you know, anxieties, depressions, all those things have a pattern of stress behind them that causes them to grow. And so, and then the opposite is true. If you're more peaceful, you're less likely to be depressed. You're less likely to get anxious or stressed or sick in any way. So please put those thoughts, you know, to your consideration and pick and choose what might be most supportive and helpful to you in your life. And have a wonderful day. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.